Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the EML Premier Challenge Cup Grand Finale. We are here, of course, in a repeat of last week around Austria and then, of course, around Bahrain for two races tonight to take you through all of the action, of course. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream, as always, on a Wednesday night these days. And joining me in the comment box, it is Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, James. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone that is watching. Looking forward to, hopefully, some nice, clean, desync free action. And judging by the one proper race that we did get done last time round at Silverstone, it should be some really close racing. Obviously, still got 2 rounds to go, so we can't really call who's going to be the champions.
Yeah, it was an absolute cracker, I've got to say, in terms of the racing in Britain last week, of course. Once again, we apologise for anything that happened last week. It was an absolute disaster, I think, from Austria onwards. So, here we are, tonight, Austria and Bahrain, 2 races to take you through, of course, and hopefully with some really good points on offer and also prizes on offer as well for all of the teams. A reminder as well, of course, in terms of the driver standings coming into tonight, I should say the team standings coming into tonight. TF10, as a result of Stewards' reports, now leading the way on 43 points, ET8 in second on 42 points, and IFR, who we thought were leaders at the end of last week, a third on 35 points. Obviously, stewarding decisions go in the way of TF10 and ET8 there. QRT in fourth on 21 points, Shazoo in fifth on 15, point behind is TTG in sixth on 14, ERT and FRL are tied for seventh, I should say, on 12 points, and then TFL are in ninth on 9, and SXT in 10th on 8 points. Of course, we leave plenty of points up for grabs, plenty of prizes, of course, up for grabs in terms of our top 3. But TF10, of course, holding only a 1-point lead over ET8, and we saw last week, and we spoke about it last week as well, both teams were very, very consistent.
Yeah, they were both there towards the top. Didn't go well for them in the what turned out to be a aborted qualifying session in the end for Austria, of course. Track limits are really going to be crucial around here in terms of penalties. So they did show that consistency. Hopefully it will all go well for them. But other teams as well, IFR getting both of their drivers in the top 5, third and fifth in the end. Perhaps a bit of a dark horse that we'd have expected. And let's not forget, Shazoo were the fastest qualifiers of all on the qualifying night. They're only fifth so far. You've got to think with a slightly different lineup tonight because Suku couldn't make it. So it is Tom alongside Jax. Tom being a fairly new signing. You've got to think they've got to put in a better performance tonight.
You'd like to imagine so. Obviously, we've seen Tom at it in TTML F1 in recent weeks, and he's been a very quick and consistent driver there when he does attend those races. So if that's anything to go by, of course, Tom is going to be one of the consistent drivers there for Shazoo, of course, alongside Jax, the Australian, who hopefully will be providing a really good result, of course, for the Aston Martin team. And again, to remind you actually in what happened last week, if you're very unfamiliar with what happened, Elting took the win in Britain, Sam Gamer was second, Legend in third, and that was, of course, at the end of round 1, and therefore we get the point standings, which we've already read out. And looking at that driver lineup, of course, Luke, we can delve quite a way into this driver lineup. We have got a 5-minute delay to the actual start, so we're going to be starting in around 5 minutes' time from now. But what I will do is run you through who was in what car for each of the teams. If you just give me a second. Mercedes, of course, for SXT, represented by Assi and Yogurt, same lineup as last week. IFR, represented by the Dutch Missile and Legend in the Red Bull. McLaren, the TF10 team, represented by Manilov and Elting. Very interesting to see how they get on. Ferrari, of course, TTG, represented by Christmas and CC Brain. Aston Martin for Team Shazoo, of course, Tom and Jack, as we've already mentioned. ERT in the Alpine with Silly Sly Guy and Samba. They again were quite consistent last week. FRL in the AlphaTauri, represented by Micheletti and Ginger. In the Alfa Romeo, TFL, represented by Shane and Julian. In the ET8 team, it is Lars and Sam Gamer for the Williams, and Haas, represented, of course, for the QRT team. Kev, very good name that, and Marlon, of course, there for QRT. And looking at that driver lineup, of course, we've already touched on Shazoo, but TF10 fielding a very good lineup, ET8 as well, same with the same lineup as last week. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Oh, I just think that maybe that consistency that ET8 have got in the driver lineup could help them, because obviously Elting's had a bit more chance to put that extra practice in, as has Lars and Sam Gamer for ET8, but Manolo, I'm not sure how late in the day the change was made for Will to not be able to make it tonight and Manolo to come in. So it's very possible that could affect them, but Manolo is still a good driver. I think TTG, let's not forget, did Christmas showed some pace in the aborted Austria race, and CC Brain was right up there as well at Silverstone, so they might have been the slowest qualifiers to get in, only getting in because WOR couldn't make it, of course. I wouldn't count them out for some good performances.
Yeah, definitely, of course, CC Brain and Christmas both in the Ferrari, of course, for Team TTG, and they're going to be hoping, of course, for a very good result. Other names to look at as well, City Sly Guy, we've already seen him be very quick on this game in other leagues. Can he, of course, turn that into form for the ERT team alongside Samba, of course, and the Alpine? They'll be interesting to get on as well. I think the Alfa Romeo team, TFL, they've been really under pressure in terms of trying to deliver, of course, being a brand new team to an event like this for Talent Factory. Shane and Julian representing them, and if it's anything to go by from what I've been seeing in league racing, certainly from the TFL team, they seem to have very good, consistent drivers, and we saw from Shane and Julian last week, they may have not got a majority of points as they would have liked, I think, but they were still up there in Britain.
Yeah, they were, and I think, as we said all last week, that consistency is going to be there or thereabouts. You don't want to be involved in any accidents. That's what's costing TFL and TTG so far, is the fact that they had drivers DNF last time out. And we use the same point system as we do in TTML, if you're not familiar with that. 30 for the win, 25-20 for the rest of the podium, 17 for 4th, and then 15 down to 1 for 19th place. So basically, you're almost guaranteed if you finish, you are going to get yourself a point. But obviously, you don't want to be in the lower points. If you don't finish, you get none whatsoever. That is what's cost TFL and TTG with Christmas's retirement last time. We've said it so many times, you need both of the drivers to get up there. It's no coincidence that the 4 teams that got double points finishes from both their, well, double points as in at least 10 points from both drivers, are the top 4 in the championship, and I expect that pattern to continue.
Yeah, you'd like to imagine so. Of course, Austria is one of those tracks, first and foremost, that obviously will provide a lot of overtaking, of course, out on track here at the Red Bull Ring. To remind you as well of other things that are available for the drivers tonight, of course, each team will get, well, first 3 will get prizes. First place will get £100, second place will get £50, and third place, of course, get £25. And we spoke last week, Luke, about obviously that prize incentive, I think, for all of the teams. And we spoke about how the points might not just be enough to try and finish, obviously, consistently. The point system is there to really back up what the top 3 are going to be getting in terms of the prizes.
Yeah, they've really got to put in some good performances. It's always that tiny little bit of pressure you have, obviously, when there's that prize involved. It's always to say you don't think about the money, professional sportsman. When I'm always seeing players at Wimbledon, at Ali Pali, any individual sport, I'm thinking, how do you not think about the money in this situation? Surely, like, there's a bit of you. Obviously, we're talking slightly different bits of prize money here, but that might just lead to that extra bit of pressure and maybe that extra bit of competitiveness as well. There's something more on the line here than just pride. So maybe not as much as Austria, but at Bahrain, when the chips are really coming down, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, of course. Remember the race schedule, of course, coming in tonight as well. Britain already completed. Austria, of course, hopefully going to come absolutely scot-free in terms of lag, and obviously in terms of the disappointment that we really had last week, of course, from Austria. One-shot qualifying, 25% rate, of course, for both races. Bahrain, of course, will come straight after Austria. We should be getting going very soon indeed in terms of the action. And that really begs the question to say, what are we going to see around Austria? Of course, it is the Red Bull Ring. 10 turns away from the guys out on track. 4.3 kilometres, 2.6 mile. As I say, 10 turns, 3 DRS zones, of course. 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 up the hill and towards turn 3 at Remus, and then 1 down and towards turn 4 at Schlossgold. And we saw in the aborted race last week, Luke, that there was quite a lot of battling down and towards turn 4, and there was quite a lot of good overtaking as well.
Yeah, there was some really good moves going on last time into turn 4. We saw drivers maybe sending it a bit more than they would have done in an ordinary situation, but really, really going for things. You'll expect to see all their moves into turn 3 as well. I think we'll see plenty coming up the hill into turn 3. Turn 1, not so much, but it could all be about just making sure that you've got it right in this qualifying session. That will be coming up shortly.
Yeah, qualifying session, of course, coming up very shortly indeed. One-shot qualifying, of course, and then that 25% race as we've already come onto. I think the stage has really been set for what promises to be a really good night's worth of action, and hopefully it is going to be as consistent as the Ollie Younger deal to Doncaster Rovers from Sunderland earlier on this week. If you're probably not knowing what I'm on about, Luke gets it, because he is a Doncaster Rovers fan, and we've given him one of our players, so there we are.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do this season and next season in League Two. And who knows, maybe even the conference for season after that.
Who knows? Who knows? We might be there down with you if, in a couple of seasons' time if we don't get our Premier League run currently on form. But we have got a little bit of slight delay, I think. We're just a couple of minutes late in regards, of course, to the action starting out on track. Let's just talk through this Austria track a little bit more, though, Luke. Of course, 2020 and 2021 hosting two rounds, of course, the Styrian Grand Prix and the Austrian Grand Prix. We saw most recently, of course, the likes of Hamilton and Bottas winning around here. What can we expect from a track like this? Because track invalidations are going to be very, very crucial, I think, in qualifying.
Yeah, I think we're going to see quite a few drivers. Obviously, you're going to push things to the limit, as you always do, in all situations. But they're really going to be going towards that edge of the limit, trying to just get things right in qualifying. It's that fine margin. Do you leave a tiny bit in hand just to ensure you get a clean lap, but knowing that you are going to get a worse qualifying? It'll be interesting to see what the drivers go for around here. I think that racer's instinct just says to me, you've just got to go for it.
Yeah, definitely. So racer's instinct, of course, everyone is going to be on the line, I think, in terms of this race here in Austria. As I say, hopefully we're going to be getting going first time in terms of the action out on track tonight, and hopefully it will be around about an hour and 15 minutes. Anywhere between that, I think, in terms of the racing that we do have for you, of course, out on track tonight. Remember, of course, coming into the standings tonight, TF10 leading the way on 43 points, ET8 in second on 42, IFR in third on 35, all confirmed, of course, after the Stewards report result from last week. QRT, Shazoo, TTG, FRL, Elite Racing Team, Talent Factory, and SXT rounding off the top 10 in terms of the points, and hopefully we are going to be going very soon indeed. I'm hoping there is a 30-second countdown going to be coming on. Otherwise, I think we might have the same problem as last week.
I mean, I'm in a different place. Like, we can't blame inconsistent internet. I'm 120 miles away at this moment in time. So I think this is just something you have to get used to with one-shot lobbies when you're spectating. The setup process is quite a bit slower, although we have just had someone leave the session. So who knows?
Yeah, Michelizzi was the driver that has just left the session, so hopefully that might not cause any issues. If there is, of course, we will restart immediately and have, of course, all of the drivers restart, and then we'll get the lobby restart, and hopefully we are going to get going, of course, for the Austrian Grand Prix here tonight. Davey there in the comment section saying, come on. Of course, if you are supporting your team here tonight, let us know in the comment section how you are feeling in terms of your support for each of your teams, and it's going to be fantastic. Dex Dexter, of course, there for ERT, already in, and a certain Luke Etheridge there in the comment section as well. I wonder who he has negotiate his way into the commentary box with here tonight. I don't know. 10 seconds, though, until we get going in terms of the action, and hopefully it is going to be really good indeed. And, of course, we are going to go on board with one driver in particular, and that one driver will be found out very soon. It's Sam Gamer, of course, for ET8. Lars, as well as teammate, on the run up towards Semmel. Right on board with him now, on the run in towards Semmel. Michelizzi has rejoined the session. Through turn 1 there with Sam Gamer, and now up the run in towards Remus at turns 2 and 3. Of course, a very hilly circuit this, the Red Bull Ring. Of course, formerly known as the A1 Ring back in the day, in the mid-2000s. Sam Gamer coming through the end of the first sector. Not looking too bad at all through the first sector. He's right up there with Legends and his fly guy, CC Brain. Of course, the top qualifiers from the aborted race last week are pretty much coming to the fore once again. I think Dutch Missile, by the way, invalidated through the first corner. So he's right down the back of the field for the other IFR driver, of course, Legend there in second. But now through turn 5 on board with Sam Gamer, in toward the left-hander of turn 6. And of course, we saw a lot of overtaking. Of course, Sam Gamer took a driver around the outside there in turn 6 in the aborted race last week. Now through the middle sector, through turn 7 and 8, and then in towards the right-hander of turn 9 at Rint, and then through the turn 10 complex, of course, at the Red Bull Mobile right-hander, as he runs very, very wide off track limits, and he's still actually valid on this lap. Now, though, invalidates coming through the final course, so game into the line, would have been on pole position, I think, there. CC Brain, though, out on top, 103.5, Eltink in second with the 103.6, and that is the widest looking Alfa Romeo you will ever see.
Yeah, wide boy, I think. Luke's going to looking slightly different next year in 2022, of course. I've had that sort of wide feature ever since 2017. But we said watch out for TTG again. It was Christmas last time it was really quick around here. But now CC Brain on pole position. Eltink not far behind either. And yeah, both Alfa Romeos for TFL putting in a really good performance.
Yeah, very good performance indeed. CC Brain, though, the German, out on top. 103.5 his lap time. Eltink there in second. Legend in third. Julian in fourth. Very good qualifying from him. And TFL actually well up there, of course, with Shane there in sixth. Lars, of course, splitting the two there in fifth. Shane, as I said, in sixth. City Sly Guy in seventh. Assi in eighth. Samba in ninth. Kev, of course, on his debut here in this event. He's rounding off the top 10. Marlon there in 11th. Michelitti in 12th. Manolo in 13th. And then the disqualifications. Christmas Simon Gamer, Jax, Dutch Missile, and Tom all invalidated on the lap. Of course, Michelitti, I think, is back in the session, if I'm not mistaken. So his car, of course, is, I think, going to be back on the grid. And hopefully we don't have any issues with regards to that. But that is the end of one-shot qualifying, of course. We now transition, of course, into this 18-lap worth of race. And quite simply, Luke, one-stop strategy, it'll probably be softs, mediums, or medium to softs.
Yeah, standard 25%. Anyone who watched last week will realise that is the way to go. Getting off the soft tyres, I reckon lap 7, lap 8. Maybe if you're feeling brave, stretch it to lap 9. And then if you're coming in off a set of the medium tyres, probably lap 9 or 10 if you are starting on them. Obviously, outside the top 10, you are going to get that fresh choice of tyres, but it doesn't look, I say, touch wood. Any other things I can do to get some luck? It looks as though Michelitski's disconnection hasn't caused any issues at the moment. Really looking forward, of course, to seeing how this race can go and which team will be ahead headed into the midnight finale at Bahrain.
Yeah, definitely. So Bahrain, of course, to come up in around, hopefully, around half an hour's time. And hopefully we're going to be getting going onto the grid. I have a feeling that was a fake 30-second countdown that we saw there. Hopefully it might have been. Hopefully we're going to be getting out on track very soon indeed. Otherwise, I think we're having a bit of deja vu from last week. And I think at this rate it might be the case, of course, that we will call a restart. And I think Michelitti will probably have to leave the session if it is causing any issues. And of course, it might be up to him, of course, whether he tries to join back, of course, on the formation lap. But I have a feeling we're probably not going to get going.
Oh, I love this feeling.
The joy.
Oh, looks like something's happening.
Is that? I'm still on the waiting for players screen at the minute.
Oh, looks like we're getting somewhere.
I hope we are. I really hope we are. It is a little bit difficult, of course. We can only describe to you what is actually happening in front of our screens, quite literally. And all I can see is an empty pit lane with hardly any cars. And actually, as soon as I say that, we have got movement, and we are now onto the formation lap. However, we have got no spectator mode. Fantastic. Oh, now it comes up as City Sly Guy is left. 18 laps worth here in Austria. You love to see a lot of disconnections plaguing us already. But let's have a look through and see what size everyone is on, as I flick on the telemetry by mistake. Top 10, of course, qualified on that set of soft compound tyres. Everyone else further down the field on that set of mediums, apart from Christmas, of course, trying the alternate strategy on that set of soft compound tyres for a set of mediums. And we would be expecting, Luke, I think, around here to see drivers pitting in from around lap 5 onwards.
Yeah, we're hearing rumours that there might have to be a restart just because of the joining in mid-session again.
But that'd be absolutely fine, I think, from our perspective, if we do restart. Of course, it is only the formation lap, and I think it is probably better to have a restart and then to see what is going on. Drivers, I think, are crashing out on the formation lap. They've been communicated this, so we are going to have a restart, which is absolutely fantastic, and it just comes to show that we are dealing quite live here with all of the issues as well. Which means you're going to be hearing two Northerners rambling on for another 10 or 15 minutes, which I hope you don't mind at all. But, of course, formation lap is now pretty much off. This race currently is off for now, but, of course, we will be getting going very soon indeed for the real-life action, of course, in Austria, and hopefully we are going to be getting that up very soon indeed. You just love to have connection issues at the start of the EML Premier, and it always seems to be Austria.
It always seems to be Austria. I mean, I've learned from last week to maybe restart the game in between the lobbies, because that does cause issues. So if anyone is listening and thinks, why does it sometimes mess up? Normally, for some reason, when the first lobby you join, once you turn F1 on, is the one that works the best, and then you have to restart the game sometimes. But this is how it goes. I've just seen how ridiculous I look in the mirror, and James realises what I'm on about. But thankfully, we don't have a face cam on, so no one else here has a clue what I'm talking about at the moment.
It's a good job, actually, that there's no face cam on me either, because I look an absolute mess, I think, at this stage. I have shaven myself, though, so I do look a little bit cleaner, but it's a bit of a rustic feeling, I think. It's just typical northern things, I think, of course, in terms of the action. We're not going to be having joining within mid-qualifying, so if any disconnections obviously happen in terms of the on-track action, then we are going to have, obviously, no drivers joining within mid-qualifying, which I think is a very good step to take, of course. It probably should have been done just before we started, of course, again last week. But we are going to be stopping joining during mid-qualifying, which I think should solve at least half of the problems. And hopefully, it might be second time lucky.
It might be. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how things are going to go at this moment in time. This is where it's annoying for the drivers. It really, I mean, it's annoying for you guys as well, obviously, watching. It's annoying for us trying to commentate, and especially if you're the one that's trying to set up the lobby and make sure you get it right, absolutely perfect every single time. That is also also slightly annoying, but again, it's one of those things that for some reason the game does not like when you join. Basically, if you disconnect after lap 1, if you disconnect after the initial starting procedure, the game shouldn't let you rejoin until after lap 1, because then you seem to be fine. Any time in between seems to cause issues.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and I think, honestly, the patch has been out, a month since the last patch, I think, was done, and we've had nothing since then. So it is a little bit of a failure on Codemasters' end, I think, as well. They're supposed to be giving a league racing experience. Does this look like a league racing experience to you? I don't think so.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with that, James.
Just hitting the nail on the head as per usual, I think, in these streams. Timo, by the way, in the comments section, red flag, is this a new feature? Yeah, we've got a little bit of we've got a graphic at the top, basically, that mimics the race control. So the session will be restarted. We have literally just joined the lobby now, so I can say that we are, with confidence, that we are going to be getting going very soon. Indeed, of course, if there's any disconnections from the drivers, they will not rejoin, of course, midway through the session. Probably be more wise, I think, to join midway between the races. Of course, try and get another lobby invite out between the first and the second race, and then hopefully all the problems will be solved. But we can only apologise once again for what we have to be dealt with, I think, in terms of the cards that we are dealt, because honestly, it is so frustrating. From our perspective, we have taken time out of our lives. So has the drivers here tonight. So has our graphics man, of course, Tom. And I feel sorry for every one of us. I think that is all involved in this event. But hopefully, as I say, second time lucky, we're going to be getting going very soon indeed. And to remind you of what is on stake and what is on offer, of course, in terms of tonight. First position, of course, gets £100. Second gets £50, and third gets £25. And hopefully some really good action, of course, with the point system, of course, paying all the way down to 19th position, which, of course, if we only had 18 drivers in that aborted race, means minimum of 2 points for every single team.
Yeah, I think the good news is the Yoga has now been able to rejoin, so he is here now, but he will obviously have to start at the back of the grid. So that's good news for them. It does look as though that FRL, whose driver it was, Mikulitsky, who should cause the issues, unfortunately, they are still going to be down to just one driver, and it would not surprise me if they do get a penalty, because everyone had been warned, if you disconnect during qualifying, do not rejoin.
Yeah, definitely. So Mikulitsky is actually in the lobby, I can see on my screen, certainly. So it might be the other driver, of course, which I think is Ginger, if I'm not mistaken. He might be the one missing out for FRL tonight. But, of course, only down to one driver. We had the same scenario, of course, last week, I think, with SXT, if I'm not mistaken. Yogurt, of course, I think was the driver that missed out on the session last week. But hopefully we're going to be getting some really good action, of course, out on track. And whether or not it is a disconnect, that has caused, of course, Mikulitsky, it causes issues within the lobby. And we can only work with what we've got, basically. Of course, the drivers have prepared probably all week for an event like this. And to be dealt a card like this right at the start, of course, affects the mentality. So how do the drivers actually cope with a little bit of break in action like this? And obviously, we're going to be getting going very soon indeed. So they've got to try and refocus, I think.
I think that's it. I was just about to say, you took the words straight out of my mouth. It is so easy in a situation like this to just lose focus and just lose paying attention on things. It can happen very easily. You take a bit of a relaxation, especially, I don't know if any of these drivers are streaming it at the same time. It'd also be easy then again, like I said, just to relax too much, maybe, but they've done it before, you know. They're used to this by now, been there, done that, got the t-shirt multiple times over. They should be used to these little interruptions, which, hey, if rumours are to be believed, they've happened at the biggest level. They've happened on F1 Esports before, and the drivers there seem to have coped okay.
Yeah, drivers have seemed to have coped okay, of course, and I think it just runs throughout the league racing, even to the smaller leagues, of course. What we class ourselves technically as a smaller league, even though we're not. And TTML has been an absolute focal point, I think, for drivers' development. And certainly, I speak from experience by saying this, and this is how old I actually feel. Matthias van Erven, who's actually in the PSGL PCF1 race tonight, he was actually part of my league, and he started his league racing career in my league on F1 2018. So, dreams do come true, and you might end up like him, obviously top tier of PC, and also a Haas esports driver.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that the structure is there now, of course, with other events that might be going on tonight that we don't want to advertise, but obviously there's other things happening in the league racing community and slightly bigger than that, so all the drivers are well aware of that there is that possibility now. You put in the hard work. You can't just rely on talent. You need to put in that hard work. It's got to be that balance. Sometimes you need a tiny bit of luck as well, and who knows, you could get there one day.
Yeah, you could get there one day, of course, indeed. Reminder of the standings, of course, coming into tonight as well. Looks like we're about to get going very soon. TF10, of course, only holding a 1-point lead over 88. Remember, these were as a result of Stewart's report. So, TF10 now leading the way, 43 points. ET8 in second on 42. IFR in third on 35. And Luke, looking just at that top three alone, you can tell how consistent they were. Of course, first driver TF10 finished first, then the first driver for ET8 finished second, the first driver for ET8 for IFR, I should say, finished third, and then the rest of the field pretty much came in sync just behind that as well. So it just comes to show TF10, ET8, and IFR currently on paper looks the class of the field.
Yeah, but to paraphrase many other commentators that are in football, F1 cars drive on tarmac, not on paper. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how the stats look at previous circuits. It's quite a different track. They're both fairly high speed. I mean, Silverstone used to be the fastest circuit in Formula 1. It's now not anymore, but it's still a very high-speed circuit, as is Austria. Austria, a lot simpler, though, and the corners at Austria probably taken at a much lower average speed than they are at Silverstone, so I'm not sure we can read too much into what happened last week. And again, this is a different day in history. Who knows how things could go?
Yeah, who knows how things could go, of course, and who knows what's going to happen, of course, out on track when we do actually get there. I think we're only waiting then on the drivers possibly to ready up, which should be not too far away at all. But a reminder as well, we do have another race after this. We have got the Bahrain Grand Prix, and Bahrain, of course, a track that has been absolutely synonymous of really good action over the years, since, of course, its inauguration in 2004, and, of course, they were running over pretty much a full layout of the Sakhir International Circuit there, of course, where Michael Schumacher, I think, won the first ever Grand Prix there, and beat, if I'm not mistaken, was it Pedro de la Rosa, I think he beat? If I'm not mistaken, something happened to Pedro de la Rosa in that race, I can remember, but we should be starting very soon indeed, and hopefully the goal will be given, but Bahrain, of course, to look forward to, Luke, and it just comes to show, obviously, drivers will not have any practice between one race and the other, so they've got to try and cope with what's pretty much in front of them as the session obviously continues on.
Yeah, we are just checking the grid at this moment in time. I am just getting the grid ready, but yeah, I think it was Pedro de la Rosa who actually got the fastest lap of the race, and that was what's happened. I think he still has the lap record around there as well.
I'm now consulting my book to try and tell you, even though it doesn't tell me what the fastest lap is from Bahrain, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Pedro de la Rosa, I think, set the fastest lap record. It was something like a 1:20 odd, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around Bahrain.
It was quick.
It was really quick.
Quick
and
for
that was
Bahrain,
over full
anyway.
layouts as well.
Yes, yeah, on the floor. I think he still does have that record. It was that, that weird time, of course, where all the what was I about to say? All the F1 cars were obviously a bit faster around there, but it's weird that the 2004 cars don't have the lap record. If you do look through the record books, there's a reason why Michael Schumacher up until extremely recently, up until like 2018, 2019, had the record around a lot of circuits, and that's because Formula One cars slowed down slightly in 2005 because of the regulation changes, and they will be slowing down slightly next year. It was rumoured it was going to be 3 or 4 seconds a lap. They now think it's going to be about half a second a lap, and dirty air might be as bad as ever. But we'll have to wait and see, of course.
We will have to wait and see, of course, and obviously can't wait until the cars are actually released. I think Aston Martin, if I'm not mistaken, is the first one rumoured. I think it's the 18th of January, if I'm not mistaken, for the first F1 car release as well. Hopefully, we are going to be getting a 30-second countdown on. I can certainly see a set of soft compound tyres within the Williams garage, certainly from my camera angle anyways. Sam Gamer there, just adjacent pretty much to where I am. He's on a set of soft compound tyres by the looks. Hopefully, we might be getting CC Brain once again, of course, out on top. One-shot qualifier, I think, is removed now, and it's just that 18-minute race. 18-lap race.
I mean, it's Austria. It won't be far off 18 minutes, if we're being perfectly honest. Shortest lap time on the calendar, as we saw in qualifying, 63-second lap times. It'll be a bit slower around here, but I still can't see it taking much over 20 minutes.
Don't think so, and hopefully we are going to be making up the time. I think that we've lost from obviously the lobby restart, but we are about to get going. Hopefully it's second time lucky. Fingers crossed, paws crossed, toes crossed, anything crossed, I think, at this stage for us to get going. But we are going to be getting going very soon indeed for the formation lap, and the formation lap, in fact, is about to begin, I hope. I'm hoping it's the formation lap, and it's not the lights out and away we go, but it is the formation lap, and now we are on that formation lap. Let's have a look at what tyres everyone is on. And actually, top 10, of course, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyre. Of course, they've got a fresh set of soft compound tyres now. Everyone else further down the field, though, there's been a few changes. Manolo and Sam Gamer, crucially, on that set of soft compound tyres alongside Christmas. Everyone else on that set of mediums.
Brave call, I think, to go for a set of soft tyres. It's if you get involved in any incidents on lap 1, which can happen, I suppose, if you're in the midfield, then you can go mediums until the end of the race. Because there is no safety car, let's not forget to save you, and as it's beautiful sunshine in the Styrian Mountains, that's how it's going to be for the entire race as well. Can guarantee you there will be no rain because of the weather settings for this event, just being clear and dry to try and eliminate that element of randomness that we do love at time, but hey, league racing's crazy enough sometimes without the addition of wet weather. It's a risk. They're going to have to make some moves on the first lap. They should be able to get a better start, Manolo, Christmas and Sam Gamer, than those drivers around them. So they'll be hoping to get ahead of Marlon and Michalitsky onto the back of the rest of the soft runners. And then we'll see the DRS train, which I don't think we've talked about yet, James. Just how long DRS trains can get around this circuit. Basically, half the track is a DRS though.
Yeah, pretty much so. I think in the aborted race last week, if I'm not mistaken, we had the whole field within the DRS train at one point, which was unbelievable. And it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if we do see that once again, of course, here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, of course, looking down from the run towards turn 1, looking down there, I can see an Alpine lagging, I think, or it's a Williams lagging, one of the two. And I think that might be either City Sligo or Samba. That might be like I'm just spotting that in from my camera angle. Certainly, it's 7th position, so it's City Sligo that is lagging profusely, I've got to say, on the formation lap. So hopefully, it's not going to cause any problems. But it looks like we're about to get going. Finally, we're going to get going for the Austrian Grand Prix. 18 laps awaiting the drivers out on track. The 5 red lights are finally about to come on here in Austria for round number 2 of the EML Premier Challenge Cup. And it's lights out and away we go, and CC Brain gets a very good start. Eltink reacted, I think, a little bit quicker, though, but he is going to drop within the slipstream behind. So CC Brain will lead in towards turn 1. The side-by-side between Julian and Lars coming through turn 1 as well. Everyone, I think, is coming through further down the field. There's a Red Bull running wide of Dutch Missile, but CC Brain leading the way up the hill in towards Remus. Eltink in third, Eltink in second, I should say, led to Legend in third, and now Julian dives it down the inside on. There's a Mercedes contacting the rear end of an Alfa Romeo. Shane is spent around by Assy, who dived it down the inside line there. Further down the field, Shane has dropped all the way to the back, but CC Brain leads on the run down towards Stoshko. Eltink in second, Legend there in third, Julian in fourth, and up the split the whole field has had Samba. Dives it down the inside line of the Mercedes, and it's now 2x2 as we go through the first half a lap.
Yeah, still side by side there, and Assy with the inside line for turn number 6. Wonder if he went slightly deep there, but no. Can hold on to that position. Great first lap of the race, not of course for Shane, way down at the back of the grid on those. They are fresh tyres, I was about to say older tyres, but we did have the qualifying restart. Wouldn't surprise me if that one gets taken to the stewards. Now might be a good time to tell you, whatever results we see at the end of this, are going to be provisional. We're going to have to wait, hopefully not too long. The stewards will work as quickly as possible. Big winner on that first lap, though, Marlon. Up 3 places, well ahead of the... Well, up 2 places, sorry, well ahead of the rest of the medium runners. If he can hold on to this train for another lap, watch out for him at the end of the race for Quest.
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, he's in 9th position at the minute. Samba there in 8th, and we've already got a desync with Samba, who is actually just in front of Marlon. So he's in 9th position, Marlon, at this stage. Sam Gamer, I think, has been contacted further down the field. In fact, it's desync. I think Sam Gamer has been caught up in contact further down the field. He's there down now at P19, so I think he got caught in the inside curb. Samba, I saw that right down the back of the field. Shane launches one on Yoga down the inside line. The TFL and the SXT drivers now getting pretty much aggressive with each other, and there's also aggressive fighting further down the field as Julian and Legend, I think, have been caught up in a bit of contact. Legend certainly is spun, and Julian, I think, is dropping down the field as well, so not sure what happened there, but Julian now down to 6th. He's got a little bit of front wing damage, I think, on the left side end plate. He's going to come into the pit lane, so already Julian into the pits, and I think he's had contact with Legend.
Legend's got major front wing damage. His front wing is absolutely missing, like completely missing. Red Bull gives you wings, seems like they lose them at the Red Bull ring. That's a bit of a tongue twister to say, especially when you've got a short tongue. But yeah, Legend and Julian into the pit lane after a great qualifying, a nightmare first lap, unfortunately, for TFL. That has created a big split in the field, though, now. CC Green and Eltink for TTG and TF10, respectively, have now broken away.
Yeah, Elting on the back of CC Brain, right on the back of him in towards Schlossgold, but he's going to be behind them in towards turn 4, and it's still CC Brain leading the way. Marlon, by the way, is now through, and he's into 6th position. I think Samba is actually just ahead of him, so he's actually in 7th. Samba there in 6th, and Samba, looking at the graphics search that we've got, he is a lap down according to this. I can tell you he is in P6, and we'll try and follow his progress as we go through, as the timings actually fix themselves once again, unlike we did last week. CC Brain leading the way, Eltink there in 2nd, Lars in 3rd, City Sly Guy in 4th. But still, Marlon under pressure from Crispus. Crispus, of course, in P8. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 and 3. I'm not sure if that's Julian. That might have been sent round further down the field, but CC Brain leads the way. Eltic in 2nd, Lars in 3rd. Tom, interestingly, for Shazoo into the pit lane.
Yeah, we're hearing rumours that apparently Legend's front wing just broke. Like,
wow.
No, apparently Legend's front wing just broke. There's been a yellow flag. I think that is just unfortunate. We are still getting some timing. But Eltic down the inside of CC Brain.
Absolutely dived it down the inside line. Very clean move, I've got to say, from Elting. He leads the way now. CC Brain drops to 2nd, and Elting absolutely sent that one down the inside line. Clean as you'd like. Probably the cleanest move I think I've seen around Austria. And now, look at this further down the field. Assi is going side by side with Christmas, and now Marlon and Samba are going side by side with each other as well. There's a bit of desync, there's a bit of contact, and Samba is sent round, and that is what happens when there is desync on the game. Unfortunately, Samba now off into the gravel. Elting leading the way. CC Brain in 2nd, Lars in 3rd, and unfortunately for Samba, no yellow flags either. This pretty much getting, I think, ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really want to say much more about that.
Yeah, Manolo on the is it coming into the pit lane, so the TF10 man now into the pit from 9th position on the grid. Elting though leading the way, CC Brain in 2nd, Lars in 3rd. So this white guy, by the way, has already picked up a penalty, so 3 seconds for him. Marlon now on the back of Assi, and actually there's a little bit of contact between Christmas and Marlon coming up the hill in towards turn number 1, but Elting doing a good job out in front. CC Brain there in 2nd, Silly Sly Guy closing in on Lars, he's not going to be close enough. Marlon, however, is on Assi, up the hill in towards turn number 3, gets the job done. Down the inside line, on that fresh set of mediums, and it's something that you mentioned, Luke, of course, on that sort of medium compounded size, 2.4 seconds the gap now between himself and Silly Sly Guy, but it suddenly looks like the mediums are beginning to come into play. So Assi actually launches one back down the inside line in towards turn number 4. Does he get the move done? He's on the inside line for 5, he does. So Assi back through and he's into 5th, and now Marlon and Christmas really coming under, really trying to pressurise Assi into another mistake, but Marlon doing a good job on that set of mediums.
He's doing a fantastic job on that set of mediums at this moment in time. I think helped by the fact that the field has spread a bit more. Although we weren't talking about the field spread, Lars has now closed in slightly onto the back of CC Brain as Marlon just understeers ever so slightly in that dirty air, which is to be expected, of course. We've got a few drivers swapping around, and that is because Yoga and Shane are into the pits.
They are indeed. Of course, Shane on that set of soft compound tyres. Jorgen, interestingly, on that set of mediums, now coming in for a set of soft compound tyres. CC Brain retakes the lead, by the way. There's so much going on, I really can't keep up. CC Brain now takes the lead of Elting, got the run up the hill in towards turn 3, got the job done. City Sly Guy also through, and he's into third, but I think Lars is going to have a move done here, possibly on the outside line in towards turn 4. Hopefully they go side by side, and hopefully it's clean as well. Lars launches that around the outside line. The 88 man has just absolutely outdone City Sly Guy like he has done a kipper. Lars is through and he's into P3. That was a phenomenal move.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We know he's Silly Sly Guy, definitely very quick driver. Christmas as well, obviously. We are seeing some yellow flags. There's definitely something happening in that middle sector, and I'm not quite sure what it is at this moment in time, but I don't think there's a lot we can do about it. I think we're just going to have to try and cope and sort it, as we are seeing first few of the lead group, well, the second group, we could say, coming into the pits. Lars and Silly Sly Guy into the pits, slowing down to that speed limit, 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometres per hour. Let's see where they come out, as Asi gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will be costly.
He does. He went a couple of mile an hour, I think, over the speed limit. And into the pit lane now, on board with Lars. He's into the pits, onto a set of medium compound tyres. Where is Tom going to come out in all of this as well? Remember, he's on that set of softs, and he is going to be rejoined, I think, behind these guys, ahead of Asi, but he's going to be behind City Sly Guy coming through turn number 1. He actually slides his way, coming out of turn 1 as well, and he doesn't pick up the DRS train just in front. Of course, he was in the pit lane. Christmas, though, going side by side with Marlon. Down in towards turn 4, Schloss Gold. Christmas is through, and he's into P3, so doing a good job, Christmas. Marlon fighting well on that set of medium compound tyres, but CC Brain and Elting only 4 tenths pretty much clear of each other. CC Brain, of course, leading Elting, and I would imagine they're going to probably come into the pit lane either this lap around or certainly try and extend their stint out as CC Brain is in, Elting both in, and the leaders are now into the pit lane, which will be crucial. And where they're going to come out in all this, I think they're going to filter out Lars, City Sly Guy area, probably just ahead of that, I think.
I think it's going to be pretty close. It would not surprise me if they actually drop behind Lars, and maybe even Silly Sly Guy as well, because things were fairly close between them. Christmas is hanging on for that one extra lap. He clearly thinks he's got enough life left in those soft tyres, but he might start regretting that if Marlon comes behind him.
CC Brain coming out of the pit lane along with Elting, and Lars, I think, is going to be side by side with Elting coming out the pit lane. There is Elting on the inside line of him, and actually Lars with the run, the overspeed coming through turn number 1, gets the job done. But now look at Elting, he's got the DRS, he's up the hill in towards turn 3, will get the job done. Not sure why the graphics have just glitched slightly. Marlon takes the race lead as well off Christmas, so Marlon now through and he's into the lead of the race, and Christmas is sent round, I think, on the curb. So Christmas is spun on the curb coming through turn 4. Kev now into 6th. I think he was the one that left the session. Hopefully not going to be plaguing us once again in terms of issues. Tom, though, through on City Sly Guy further down the field. He's into 10th position. So a lot happening in this race, only through the halfway stage. We apologise for anything that is happening. Christmas is scored once again, coming through turn 6. But Marlon now leading the way. Jackson second, Michelizzi in third, as Marlon is into the pit lane from the race lead.
Yeah, Marlon into the pits for the late race lead, and I think Sambers pulling over and retiring here. I think he realises there's just having too many issues in that car, unfortunately, which is such a shame for him. But yeah, Jack's leading at the moment. Dutch Missile in second. Kev's still carrying on out on track, but I think we know he's had disconnection issues and he'll be coming into the pits fairly soon. CC Brain with that net lead. Elting net second. Lars in a net third. And he's within DRS range of the McLaren, so he could still get involved, but he's used up pretty much all of his ERS trying to get involved in this battle, which really, really is going to cost him.
Oh, Shane trying to go around the outside and towards turn 3 on the course on that set of medium compound and tight. CC Brain now through on Kev, and he is through and he's into P3 further up the field. And now Shane is going to have an awesome run on Yoga down the inside and towards turn 4. Yoga will pull across, but Shane, I think, is going to have this move done. Down the inside on the Alfa Romeo goes on the Mercedes. The soft compound is there, but he gets caught on the outside curb and Shane is through. Nice move that by Shane. He's through and he's into 11th position. Jack's leading the way, Dutch Missile second, Kev as well in 4th. Still yet to come into the pit lane. CC Brain, though, has got a car between himself and Elting there, P4. I think he's out of DRS range on CC Brain.
Yeah, I think he is as well. That could be costly. He's really using up that energy at the moment, and I wonder if Elting has done that as well. I wonder if Elting's just, CC Brain's just used a lot of his ERS to break that 1 second window, as he did set the fastest lap of the race, and if he's done that, that could be key. That could get him the win, and it was a penalty. Last time out was the only thing that stopped him winning last time. It's a shame for Christmas that he's not able to get up there as well. Otherwise, TTG would be in an absolutely fantastic position.
Yeah, they would be. I think Christmas, obviously, with his own fault, I think, in terms of spinning out on track, that is why he's so far down the field. There in P18, he's back into the pit lane as well. Whether or not he is in P18, they'll remain to be seen. Jack's still leading the way, Dutch Missile in second, CC Brain in third. Top two still to come in. Kev, by the way, pitted last lap around. He's rejoined in P15 behind Yogurt, and he's ran 1.5 seconds off the pace in terms of that. On board with Lazo, the ETA man, trying to pressurise Eltink in front, and Eltink, of course, for TF10, doing a fantastic job, but now we're probably about to see the rivalry we'll want to see, I think, here tonight. TF10 against ET8, of course, first against second in the Teams Championship.
Yeah, first against second in the Teams Championship, and their teammates at this moment in time, well, it's looking not too bad for TF10, but ET8, Sam Gamer's down in 13th, and he's got himself a penalty at this moment in time. But here comes Lars, very straightforward. Down the inside, well, long before we get to turn 3, round the outside of turn 2, I suppose, if you're being precise. There he goes, he's up into third. They need to work together here. Neither of them have got a lot of ERS. Need to work together tactically with the DRS to try to get in range of CC Brain. Otherwise, it is going to be very difficult. And Jax, he's carrying on for a long time here. This is a interesting strategy. Surely, we're going to see the Shazoo man come in this lap.
Yeah, Sambo's retired as well. I'm not sure if that's in the pit lane where he's retired. I haven't got the track map up certainly, but I'm sure that is into the pit lane as he retires out of the race. Marlon there in 7th. He's got past through on Manolo as well. So the Sly Guy overtook Tom. So it clearly seems to me the set of mediums are beginning to work now out on track. Jack's though into the pit lane. So we're about to see where he's going to come out. I think he's going to come out around Michelitti, Sam Gamer sort of area. And if that's the case, he's going to be on that sort of soft compound tyre. But the biggest thing is he's going to be stuck in a DRS train behind a wall of cars.
Yeah, well, we've seen already, if you're the third car in the train, it is extremely difficult to get anything done as Dutch Missile now picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's really tricky once you're in a DRS train. Jax, he's got the fresher tyres. He's going to have to see if he can try and make it work at the fight in that middle sector of the lap. That's where you could really use that tyre grip and pull off some fantastic moves round the outside. Anywhere else is going to be difficult, but here comes Eltink trying to go all the way around the outside before we get to turn 4. Gets it done nice and easily. That is Eltink back into second. They are tantalisingly close to the back of that Ferrari and being back within DRS range.
Yeah, nice move that from Eltink as well. We just cut off Jax overtaking Michelitti as well in towards turn 3, so good job from him. He's through in the 10th position, and he's got a little bit of clear air to try and focus and try and get through the field now, the Shazoo man. Further down the field, Sam Gamer going at it with Dutch Missile. Not sure if they're desyncing slightly, but the Canadian and the Dutchman doing a fantastic job, and Dutch Missile down the inside line. The camera cuts away, and the Red Bull is ahead. So lovely move there by Dutch Missile down the inside line. Sam Gamer realised it. He is now back down into P13, and Dutch Missile through, and he's into P12 as well. CC Brain low leading the way. Elting, because he's just got a little bit of clear air, he's going to come under pressure from Lars, but he has crucially got the DRS, of course, coming across the line. So CC Brain is now going to watch behind him rather than in front of him.
Yeah, they've all pretty much absolutely drained their battery at this moment in time, so we're as close to a level playing field as you can get. One lap extra tyres for Lars, and CC Brain does not have DRS at this moment in time, and as Marlon now gets his way up into 6th place. He's really putting in some good performances here, and I think there's been a spin, and that was Christmas. He's close to the back of his CC Brain's not far behind him here. I wonder if he's going to get a bit of DRS off his teammates.
Yeah, we've seen that one before. EML Premier around here. Manolo in P6, Shane in P7. Marlon now down into 8th position. So Manolo and Shane, as a result, I think Marlon got boxed in down in towards turn 4 now. And that's why we see the McLaren and now the Alfa Romeo ahead of him. So Manolo through, he's into 6th. Shane through and he's into 7th. CC Brain though leading the way. Eltink there in 2nd, of course. Christmas spun. Unlike the other TTG guys around here, of course, giving DRS to each other in EML Premier. CC Brain, though, leading the way. It could help him out. He has just got around 2 or 3 seconds to get to that, and of course, with Christmas spinning, he could just enforce him to try and come off. But I think Eltink has got the pace. He's got that DRS as well. He's there in 2nd, 5/10 off him. This second stint for Eltink, I think, has been better than CC Brain's, and Eltink's got the pace to try and close himself.
Yeah, CC Brain, sensible thing to do, went for that, first lap, absolutely out the pits, gunning it, taking as much out of the battery as possible. You're not allowed to do anything with the fuel, of course, on this game. Did work for a bit, but then Lars and Eltink being able to work together with the DRS is just what ruined this plan, I think, for CC Brain. If it had been Eltink on his own, I think it would have been keeping that gap at round about 1.5, 2 seconds, and the McLaren driver, in my opinion, would not have been able to do too much about it. As it stands, though, we've got a three-way battle for what has been a cracking Austrian Grand Prix, 4 laps to go, and there's still some good battling happening behind as well.
There is indeed. Manolo really challenging Shane for P6 as well. Marlon there in P8. And Jax is side by side nearly with Assi coming out the final corner as well. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think Christmas has actually gone for a spin, if I'm not mistaken. That's what the yellow flag was there for. And CC Brain now has got a clear track in front of him. But Eltink has got a red wall Ferrari in front of him now. On the run down and towards turn 4. Is Eltink going to try and risk the move? I think he's going to go. Probably penultimate lap of the race. Just stick him behind on your rival. Eltink on the back of CC Brain. For now, CC Brain stays ahead of the German. Eltink there in second, Lars in third. They pulled 6 seconds. Yes, 6 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Further down, though, Shane is back through Manolo, and a dive bomb there from Marlon and Assi. These two have really been going at it, albeit a bit aggressively, and they make contact there as well. Jax recovers well, was going to get caught up in that, and dives it down the inside line and gets the move done, but he's still a little bit sideways, and he's actually got front wing damage now, as Jax, I think he had left side end plate damage before that, and now Marlon has got damage as well. His car looks very unstable, and Michalitzi's now on right on the back of him, and that's what you get when you defend too aggressively around here. There is bound to be contact.
Yeah, but I think obviously Jax being in Australia, sometimes his connection does have issues, but from what we've seen tonight, it could have been anyone's having issues. Further up front, Eltink still on the back of CC Brain. I wonder if he's close enough this time to go for a move, or is he going to leave it until the last lap of the race?
I think he'll leave it at least penultimate lap of the race. We've seen it so many times here in league races before, certainly I have anyways, where drivers have waited until the penultimate lap of the race, then made their move, and then they've gone clear by around a second on the final lap of the race. CC Brain leading the way though, Eltink there in second, Lars in third. There was action further down the field as well. Kev and Yogurt fighting out in towards turn 3, the Mercedes and the Haas side by side, and the Haas just dancing around really in terms of the lag. Julian right on the back as well. He's going to get a really good double slipstream off the guys ahead, but Kev with the DRS is going to have the move done, and I think if he's not careful, Julian tried it down the inside line, tried the dummy, didn't get the move done. Yogurt stays in P14, Kev through into P13. CC Brain though leading the way, 2 laps to go. Eltink there in second, Lars in third. It's anyone's game. Yeah,
it is anyone's game at this moment in time, so I think it's it's all going to be about who saved a lot of VRS, but all of them now sort of in a much nicer situation. I've never seen 3 cars as close as each other as we're heading onto the penultimate lap of the race here, and Eltink's going to try down the inside line, almost selling the dummy there, tries to make it down the inside. Lars might get the cutback here, might be able to get the pair of them. It's Eltink into the lead of the race, CC Brain in second, and Eltink got the DRS as well. That's bad news for the Ferrari.
And Lars is going to go all the way around the outside, possibly both of them down and towards turn 4. This would be insane if he can pull it off. There's contact between CC Brain and Lars. There wasn't a gap there between Eltink and CC Brain, I should say. And Eltink now throwing he's into lead of the race. Lars swept around the outside of CC Brain, and I think the German just got a little bit too heavy, I think, realising that the gap wasn't there. He backed out at the last second, and now he's down to third. He's lost the race lead. Eltink and Lars sweep past him, and now, going on to the final lap, it's all change.
Yeah, it is all changed now. CC Brain, he spent the entire race doing the defending. Now he's got to try and attack all of a sudden after qualifying on pole position. This could have big implications, of course, for, TTG, you've got to say, probably provisionally out of the championship now, but whoever wins out of Eltink and Lars, this is going to really have a big say. Eltink has a big slide coming through turn number 1, and that might be an opportunity. Lars leads into turn number 3. Up the hill he comes. Eltink not bothering to defend. I wonder if he's saving a bit and trying to go for it. Coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. Very close together between the two of them. Lars gets a decent exit. I think Eltink's got a tiny bit more VRS here. Lars is going to leave the door open on the inside line. Eltink says thank you very much. Retakes the lead of the race.
Well, watch out for CC Brain in behind as well. He got very close in towards turn 3 once again. Very close into turn 4. City Sly Guy and Tom are fighting out in behind as well. City Sly Guy is through in the Alpine. He's through and he's into P4. Manolo and Shane are fighting side by side. Goodness me, what a race this has been in Austria. Finally we got it underway and we've came to this. Eltink now up in towards the final 2 corners. CC Brain's pace has dropped off significantly. I wonder if he's run out of fuel possibly. But Eltink now running around the final couple of corners. He is going to take the race win here in Austria. It's been a fantastic race from the TF10 boys, and Eltink wins from Lars in second, CC Brain in the end in third, and he went well off the pace in the final sector. Silly Sly Guy in fourth, Tom there in fifth. Of course, all provisional results. Manolo and Shane now jump up. Assi there across the line in 8th, now Marlo on 8, Assi 9, Dutch Missile 10th, and look at that, 3,000th of a second off, possibly just scraping them within the top 10. Assi there in P9, Dutch Missile in P10, Michalitzi, Julian, Sam Gamer, Yogurt, Kev, Run off the top 15, been a crash coming across the line there. Jackson Legend, we wait on finishing. Christmas, of course, finished behind the field, so he finished in P18. Crucially still picks up points under his own volition. Jax picks up a 5-second penalty, of course, for an unserved pit stop. And Legend across the line, disappointing race from him in 17th position, and the car has gone nearly into the pit wall there.
Yeah, I tell you what good race for TF10. Good race there. Both drivers obviously keeping it clean in terms of penalties. Shazoo Tom gets the in-game driver today, but a first and a fourth place for TF10 there. Just waiting for Tom to work out the championship standings. They'll have extended their lead. They're going to be looking good going into Bahrain.
Definitely going into Bahrain. And of course, I think it's a track that TF10 absolutely love to excel around as well. So, to the top step of the podium once again, Eltink goes. And it's his second race win in a row in this event as well. Of course, he took the win in Britain. And TF10 looks like they're the form team going into the final race.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Manolo as well, top driver making that... well, of course, he wasn't on the alternate strategy. He did start on a set of soft tyres. So the alternate strategy, Tom was actually the best driver on that in the end. Manolo doing a really good job working his way through the field. Again, just keeping it clean. Sly Guy and Tom both getting them penalties, which dropped them down. Good performance from Shane. You've got to think about what might have been, though, for him and Julian. Both of them having issues. Shane doing quite well in the end to recover back up into the top 5.
Yeah, definitely so. Shane drove a really good race, I think, for TFL, and I said watch out for them in terms of their league racing performances, and I was right once again. Elting out on top, though, Lars in second, CC Brain in third, and CC Brain got absolutely mobbed on that final lap by both Eltink and Lars. They overtook him, of course, on the penultimate lap of the race, finishing there in third. Manolo in fourth, Shane, City Sly Guy, Tom, Marlon, Assie, and Dutch Missile ran off the top 10. Mikuliti, Julian, Sam, Gamer, Yogurt, Kev, Jax, Legend, and Christmas all finishing. Samba retiring, I think, out of his own volition, to be honest, but hopefully, fingers crossed and everything else crossed, that is the last of the decing we will see. Austria is done, breathe a sigh of relief, and now we go to Bahrain, of course, under the midnight lights.
Yeah, under the lights, of course. Bahrain next should be a good race. I always enjoy Bahrain. This is going to, I think, strategy could play a bit more of an important part around Bahrain than it does around some of the other circuits, just because it's a high tyre wear circuit normally. It will still be a nice, straightforward, one-stop strategy for everyone's soft to medium tyre. But it'll be more reminiscent of what we'd consider a normal strategy.
Yeah, definitely so. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a mess up with my track map. It's literally going back to Red Bull Ring. It's almost as if it wants me to commentate, I think, for the Red Bull Ring once again. But yeah, Bahrain, of course, up and coming. And reminder as well, we have still got those prizes up available for first, second, and third. Of course, £100, £50, and £25 for first, second, and third. And hopefully, these teams will not be having a bring your own booze party.
Yeah. That took me a while. I was just trying to sort things out there. That did take me a while, but yes, hopefully there won't be, and hopefully they won't need Sue Gray to sort it out. Yeah,
definitely not. Hopefully no inquiry needed, I think, going into that. Maybe stupid inquiries, of course, after that race in Austria, but who knows what is going to happen, of course, going into Bahrain. As soon as we've got the team standings for you, we will give them to you live and exclusive, of course, on the League Racing TV channel, and, of course, live and exclusive on this stream as well. Really hope you have been enjoying the action, by the way. If you have, of course, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new. My YouTube stream is just updating, and quite a lot of support actually for ET8. Really good in terms of the ET8 support. Mikuliti, of course, saying about nice disconnection. Hopefully we won't get that, of course, going into Bahrain. But you said, Luke, of course, strategy is going to be all important around here. It is going to be one-shot qualifying and that 25%, of course, once again. So the drivers have got to prepare probably for more heavy tyre wear, I think. And the one-stop strategy probably will, of course, be the strategy to go on. But it's just dependent on what the guys feel is absolutely necessary around a track like this.
Yeah, I think that's it. If you get damage on lap 1, this is where it could now get interesting. You might even have to still go for a set of hard tyres, but I think you'd be fine on the mediums. Drivers, we're talking, what is it, 14-lap race? I think you're going to see drivers coming in lap 5, maybe, off the set of soft tyres. You might stretch it to lap 6 if you're feeling brave.
Could stretch it to lap 6 if you're feeling brave. I've certainly seen drivers try and go possibly into lap 8, lap 9, possibly, and then going on that set of soft compound tyres from a set of medium. So hopefully we will be seeing drivers pitting in. I think earlier, obviously the top 10, you would imagine are going to put on a set of soft compound tyres. So we will have to see, of course, and wait what goes on out on track. And hopefully, as I say, we're going to be getting the standings very soon indeed. As I could see Tom typing, so I know the standings are probably coming. I'm not going to reveal them at this point. I have got them up, but I'm not going to reveal them at this point. And as we've already mentioned, hopefully Austria is not going to be a part of any EML event ever again, I think, after the farce that we've just had there, and of course last week. But hopefully we're going to be getting going very soon indeed, as I say. Standings are done, which means I can now tell you what they are, if I just find my way to the standings, that is. And TF10 currently hold a 16-point lead. They're on 90 points leading the way. TF10, ET8 in second on 74. It's all got a little bit concertinaed up though from third downwards. IFR in third on 48 points. QRT in fourth on 38, with TTG in fifth on 36, only 2 points behind. Tie for sixth between Chazoo and TFL. They had a very good race in Austria, picking up 23 points. They're tied for sixth on 32 points, along with Chazoo, as I say. ERT in eighth on 26, SXT in ninth on 25, and FRL in 10th on 21 points. And Luke, of course, holding an advantage of 14 points coming into tonight's race here in Bahrain. TF10 have got the form, but ET8 are only 16 points behind, and you never know, one bad race, and they might let ET8 in for the race win.
I mean, that's a possibility if you retire. Retirement could really change things at this moment in time, but they're going to need, obviously, Sam having a bit of a bad race last time out, I think getting caught up in some incidents, unfortunately. Yeah, ET8 have got to try and work this. TF10 look very consistent. 16 points is it's a reasonably sized gap, especially if it was one driver. With two drivers, it might be a tiny bit easier, but just have to, again, just wait and see how things go for all these drivers. I can tell you we are pretty much ready, so it shouldn't be long until we get everyone ready and up.
Yeah, it shouldn't be long indeed. If you are listening to the stream, by the way, while we are having a split, welcome along, of course, if you have just tuned in. Myself, James Head, and Luke Etheridge taking you to the action for the EML Challenge Cup event, the Premier Challenge Cup event. It is the grand final, of course. Part 2 from last week, of course, after what has been a very, very tricky Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully, we're going to be getting all going very soon indeed, and I can see certainly the countdown coming on for Bahrain. And, of course, you'll be wanting to know what the Bahrain circuit actually entails. It is known as the Bahrain International Circuit, of course, 5.4 kilometres and then 3.3 miles, 15 turns awaiting the guys out on track with 3 DRS zones, one down the start-finish right down in towards turn 1, one up the hill and towards turn 4, and also one down the old F2 pit straight down in towards turn 11 as well. And obviously, Luke, this is an absolute technical track in terms of the curbs, especially one in particular, I'm thinking, turn 12 into turn 13, which could really catch people out.
Yeah, it's one of the insta-spin curbs, as I call it on this game. It always sends you flying around just when you least expect it. Everyone should sort of expect it round about now, I suppose. It happens that many times. Yeah, very tricky. It also has, in my opinion, one of the trickiest corners on the game, and that is turn 9 and 10. That double left-hander, you start braking and turning at the same time. With assists on, it's not a problem. With no assist, you've got to be so delicate on the brake to avoid locking up through there. Could be one to watch out for, especially a few times during the race. I think we'll see the odd driver running wide through that part of the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, we will see really good action. Maybe even like a Hamilton-Rosberg 2014 Children of the Desert style up is what I'm hoping in terms of the backline, of course. Maybe between ET8 and TF10, of course, two teams that have been at the focal point of the PS4 platform in recent months, and now they're going to do battle once again, possibly one-on-one, mano-a-mano, here in Bahrain, underneath the midnight light, I should say. That's very difficult for a northerner to say. 30-second countdown is on, though, I can report, and I can see quite a few drivers looking like they're going to go onto a set of soft compound tyres, especially the SXT boys. You're going to Assy. They look like they're going on a set of soft compound tyres, and we'll be getting going very soon indeed for the Bahrain Grand Prix. 14 laps, of course, one-shot qualifying. It should take around 25 minutes or so, and Sam Gamer is once again the man we're going to go on board with. So we'll run on board then with him on the run down towards turn 1. We should see him towards the top end of the field, one would imagine. And now Sam down in towards turn number 1, the right-hander. Misses the curb slightly coming coming through turn 1, now to the left-hander of turn 2, and then to the right-hander of turn 3. Looking very nice there, I've got to say, from Sam Gamer, and now looking to try and pinpoint his run in towards turn 4. Breaks just off the 100 metre board, gets the car rotated in very nicely, and even slightly wide. We saw Max Verstappen, of course, illegally overtake Lewis Hamilton in 2021 around here, and Sam Gamer now coming through the S section of 5, 6, and then through the right-hander of turn 8 now, and then in towards my favourite corners on the track, through turn 9 and 10. If you get this right, it is literally the best corners to take around this circuit. If not, you're going to end up probably well down the field, as nearly Sam Gamer actually showed there, coming through turn 10. Now, hopefully, he's not listening to the stream. On the run up towards turn 11, now on board with the Canadian. Tom Ad on top, Legend in second, Jackson third at base stage. Shazoo looking very, very quick so far around here, and everyone still looks like they're on a valid lap as well, as now Sam Gamer comes through the right-hander of turn 12. Just saw the little bit of twitch there from the rear end. You can lose the rear end through there, but luckily I think everyone has managed it quite safely. And now Sam Gamer on the run down, taking the natural esports line, as we like to call, down and towards the right-hander of 14, and then through the kink of 15, pretty much a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit over and done with. It looks like it's going to be a Shazoo 1-2, looking at the graphics on the left-hand side, and it is Jax out on top, Eltink in fact is second, Tom there in third, and Sam Gamer all the way down in 8th as a result of that lap.
Yeah, Sam Gamer down in 8th place, but not bad whatsoever. Really, you've got to say for ET8 there, their drivers are 5th and 8th. Compare that to TF10, they've got 2nd and 11th, but maybe that 11th place, where Manolo is, might be where you want to be starting this race on that fresh set of tyres. It shouldn't be as powerful as it is in a 50% race, but I think they'd have took that before qualifying, having one driver at the front of the field and one sort of in the middle, but on that fresh set.
Yeah, ET8 I think have nearly out-qualified, I think, TF10 as a result. Of course, Eltink is there in second, but TF10 I think more consistent in terms of their appearances. Sorry, ET8 I should say, more in terms of their opinions. You know what I mean. Jack's out on top from Eltink in second, Tom in third. 25.8 as well from Jack's very quick lap around here in Bahrain. Eltink there in second, Tom in third. Legend in fourth with Lars in fifth, Dutch Missile in sixth, Assy there in seventh, Sam Gamer in eighth, Kevin ninth. Yogurt ran off the top 10. Look at how close they were as well. Only 0.003 of a second separating their laps. Manolo in 11th, starting on that fresh set of medium compounded tyres we would expect. Shane, CC Brain, Christmas, 13th and 14th for TTG. 7/10 off the pace in the end. Michelisi in 15th, Julian in 16th. Samba DNF'd out of the session. Obviously must have retired through the final corner. And City Sly Guy Marlon didn't get lap times in. So obviously they invalidated. Probably on the exit of turn 13, maybe on the exit of the final corner. Certainly. But very good laps times by all. And now it gives us a really good platform to go racing once again here in Bahrain.
Yeah, Shazoo sort of putting in that sort of last-ditch effort. They're in 6th place at the moment, and they are mathematically out of it. I can tell you, the most points you can get now is 55 points, and realistically, it is a two-horse race between TF10 and ETA. Need a bit of a miracle with IFR to overturn that 42-point gap, but hopefully should see some pretty good performances. Shazoo looking to get themselves up there. They could still easily get that 3rd place. That is wide open.
It is wide open, definitely, and I think third, obviously, Constantine it up as a result of the race in Austria, and obviously, that race, obviously, you saw what happened, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some really good action, of course, out on track. I hope we're going to be loading into Bahrain, as the names literally come up as soon as I say that, so it looks like I'm loading now into Bahrain at least, and hopefully you will be as well. So the 20 odd of you that are still tuning in, thank you so much. I know how frustrating it's been over the last 2 weeks trying to get this event once again on. Big thank you, I've got to say, to all of the teams. Easily, this might have not run this week if no one was available. But thanks to all of the commitment of the teams and thanks to all the commitment of the drivers, we do have 2 races tonight. Of course, Austria already done, Bahrain coming up, and you have to give credit to every single team because easily it could have been completely different.
Yeah, could have been completely different. I mean, there was a lot of frustration last week, I think, from ourselves as well. Unfortunately, for various issues, which I'm just jinxed with internet, seems to be one of the problems. Doesn't matter which part of the UK I'm in, it decides that it does not want to work. But hopefully we'll be able to get this Bahrain Grand Prix underway. Hopefully we'll get some nice clean racing under the lights to end the event.
Jewel in the desert, perhaps? So the Sly Guys left the session. Hopefully, I don't think he'll be able to join back, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at the mid-qualifying rule, of course, I'm not sure if that applies for the race. But what we can do is run you through the tyres that everyone is on. And what a boring bunch we have here in EML Premier Challenge Cup. Top 10, so their soft compound tyres. Of course, they qualified on that set of softs. Everyone else on a set of mediums. Simple one-stop strategy. Set of softs, you would imagine, pinned in from around lap 4, lap 5 onwards, and then for a set of mediums, I would say majority of the guys will go lap 8 onwards, I think, from a set of mediums.
Yeah, I think pretty much spot on there, James. I think that is what you're going to see happening here. Silly Sly Guy should be able to join after the formation lap. It does seem to let you do that, and you won't lose too much. Jack's leading the way. Eltink in second place. You know, IFR, they are in a good place to maybe secure that third place, actually, with Legend in fourth. Hopefully he doesn't have any phantom front wing brakes, and Dutch Missile in sixth. I just got a good feeling about Manolo in this race. He put in a great performance last time from outside the top 10. This time he's on probably the peak strategy, starting in the, consolation prize of 11th place at the moment on that set of the medium tyres. If he has a clean first lap, he's definitely going to be one to watch.
Yeah, the problem is, though, I think with Manolo, he's got drivers that do like to attack on the first lap behind him. Shane, CC Brain, Christmas in particular, and they're going to be ones to watch out for, I think, as well. The TFL team have done very, very well tonight, obviously, in Austria. Shane and Julian, I think, have got a really good chance of making something out of this race. Silly Sly Guy, down in 18th. Watch out for him in this race as well. ERT could be ending up with a really good point haul towards the end of the race as well, but who knows what is going to happen, of course. Jack's out on top, though. Eltink in second, Tom in third. As we're about to get racing once again here in Bahrain, the drivers are making their way down and towards turn 14 and 15. And for the final time of the EML Premier Challenge Cup, we are about to go racing. So I cannot leave the end of the stream without saying, Luke Etheridge, who was your top three?
I am going to go for Jax, Eltink, and Manolo.
Interesting. So you think the top two are going to stay in the same position, and Manolo there in third from 11th position, of course, on the grid. CC Brain has been disqualified with a collision with his teammates. So they're obviously going to have a little bit colder tyres on the starting grid, but we are about to get going. Bit laggy, I think, from Jax, but we can expect that from an Australian internet, and everyone now joining up in behind. The final cars we join at the back of the grid, including Marlon there and Silly Sly Guy, 18th and 19th. But for the final time in the EML Premier Challenge Cup event, we are about to get going. Hopefully, no issues here tonight in Bahrain, underneath the midnight lights, underneath the bright night lights, and hopefully, I really hope that we're going to get 5 red lights. I don't think we are. Samba now disconnects once again. Now the 5 red lights are on. Goodness me. But we were about to go eventually racing, and Jax gets a very good start, but he has got a really good response from Tom, and behind it's going to be 3 wide down and towards turn 1, and Tom in the end has got a shocking start. Tom on the outside line gets moved on. Jax dives it down the inside line of Eltink, but Eltink leads through turn 1. There's a Constantino effect in behind. Williams and a Mercedes running wide, and there's contact further down the field. Assy has been caught up in contact now. Lars has been sent round. There's all sorts of contact. The Haas round as well. Kev is off. CC Brain, I think, is off further down the field as well. But Tom leads the way, dives it back down the inside line of turn 4, leads the way now. Jax trying to get side by side with Eltink. Eltink remains in second. Jax third and third. Legend in fourth. And everyone else clean through safely. But very, very carnage-like coming through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, but everyone was going extremely late on the brakes there. They were just sending it, weren't they, at that moment in time? They did not care about anything. That's really cost a few drivers. Lars, I wonder if he's got any damage to his car. I think he was one of the ones who was sent flying over a curb, and he has got front wing damage. Luckily for him, started on a set of the soft tyres, but unsurprisingly, understeering all over the place. Manolo didn't actually have a great start. He's held position. He's battling with Mikulitsky here, so he might end up losing a position, but no, Mikulitsky has to stay behind me now, but he's dropped behind Christmas and Shane, so that is good news for them on the alternate strategy. Great start to the race for them, for Shazoo, obviously, staying in first and third, but in the opposite way round.
Yeah, definitely. So Tom just got a much better start. We saw the lights go out, and I immediately thought Jax, so slow off the line, was going to get outjumped by Eltink and Tom, and that's exactly what's happened. Tom now leading the way at the end of lap 1. Eltink now in second. Jax there in third. Legend now in fourth. Let's have a look at the position gains early on. Of course, positions lost. 14 positions lost to Lars. 7 positions lost as well for Kev. Most positions gained, however, Marlon up to 14th position. Might actually get another one down the inside on of Samba in towards turn 1. He's contacted now on the rear, on the right right-hand side of the car. Marlon put his left wheel alongside on the side pod of Samba. He's now going to try and get the run up towards turn 4, but I don't think he's going to be close. Unpredictable one-stop strategy, lap 6 to 9, lap 7 to 9. Not very helpful from the AWS graphics as we have seen in the past, but Tom leading the way, Eltink in second, Jackson third. So the slow guy has now rejoined the session, luckily not around each other. It's going to cause a graphics glitch on the left hand side, but allowed to join back, of course. He's there in 17th position, he's around no one, and it's probably not going to cause any issues either.
No, it does. Hopefully he's had time to restart the game, because again, that might fix it, and it seems to always work okay after the first lap for whatever reason, but hopefully he'll be able to get himself back up. Real shame for ERT that they did have these issues. I know before last week even, Samba was a bit worried about his connection only being able to connect to certain people, and it looks as though ERT has definitely been plagued with those issues tonight, as Zusa Yoga have a massive slide there. Coming through turn number 13 there, icy now right on the back of his teammate, so Yoga overheating the rears already, not something you want to be doing in the early stages of the race. We're going to see DRS for the first time on the run towards turn number 4. I wonder whether Eltink's going to even need that to take the lead of this race, because he's all over the back of Tom, and indeed goes to the inside line, should be able to get this move done down the inside, late on the brakes from Eltink. Will Tom be able to fight back though?
I think he will. I think the intention there was to let Eltink through and then to get DRS, but now he's got the DRS open, and there's literally no gap to try and come into. But around 5/10 as we come now in towards turn 4, the graphics just get to the left-hand side. They'll fix themselves very soon. But Eltink leading the way, Tom in second, Jack's now in third, further down the field. Christmas going side by side with Manolo in towards turn number 4. But we've seen that one before, somebody forcing off track, another driver off track, and of course, that was Christmas once again, forced off Manolo. So Christmas soon, he's into P10, Manolo on the outside line there through down to P11. We've got another glitch, by the way. Samba is there in P13. Unfortunately, the ERT boys seemingly looks like they're desyncing in terms of the host connection, as Marlon nearly goes into the back of him, actually. Could lose position to CC Brain, and CC Brain will not take that opportunity one bit to try and get the move done there, because he is through and he's into P14, and now both QLT drivers falter in behind. So CC Brain 14, Marlon 15, Kevin 16. Elting though leading the way, but he's got a train of Shazoo cars in behind.
Yeah, those Shazoo drivers staying all over the back of him at this moment in time, and maybe they can try to work together somehow. One of them maybe pitting a bit earlier than the other one, just to try and force that strategy. Of course, double stacking does work now, but when you're this close together, you are going to lose out. And Tom there, oh, there we go, Jack's coming into the pits, exactly what I predicted. He's coming in early. We've had a few cars following him as well. That is Asi and Sam Gamer coming in. Tom with the DRS retakes the lead of this race. So Shazoo, with both of their drivers up there, obviously being able to play that tactic, coming in early to try and get that undercut and try to just hold on at the end of the race. We'll see how well it works out for them, of course. Eltink not able to fight back up the hill into turn number 4. He's staying behind for now. I wonder whether we'll now see a reaction from the rest of the field.
You'd like to imagine, so I think I did say around lap 4, lap 5 for a set of soft compounded tyres to come in on the set of mediums, last around 10 laps, be absolutely perfect in terms of the strategy. Tom leading the way, Eltink in second, Legend in third. Samba was in P10 just before he desync once again. He's there in P10 ahead of CC Brain, I think. And Tom currently leading the way, 6/10 of a second. But Eltink, we saw him in Austria. He didn't want to go for the move. He just wanted to stay in behind on the DRS. And look where that ended up. That ended him up in P1 in Austria. So if he tries to do exactly the same thing here, with Tom dragging him along there in the lead, Eltink will be the one to watch out for, I think, later on in this race.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, he's worked it out perfectly in Austria. It seems like he's trying the same tactic again. Kev and Samba battling side by side. Thankfully, Samba is back solid again now. But, yeah, just do feel so sorry for the ERT drivers. Jax, he's going around at the moment. The gap to the leader, 23.5 seconds at this moment in time. And he's not gaining masses. As you can see, Eltink conducts missiles, setting fastest laps of the race. Their soft tyres still in pretty good nick.
Yeah, and they both stay at least for another lap onwards. The rest of the guys are though on a set of softs, including Kev further down the field into the pit lane. So Tom there, where though is Jax? Jax is coming out the final corner now. I think Tom's going to be ahead here. Tom is going to be possibly ahead of Jax, coming down towards turn 1. He's coming out the pit lane and exit now, and Jax is nowhere to be seen. Jax is going to lose positions rather than gain them. In fact, he's just getting ahead of Legend, but Legend is going to force it down the inside line. Oh, and there's near contact. That could have been like Maldonado Gutierrez, I think it was, in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, or some year like that. Jax, though, in P11. Legend, though, he tried to force the move down the inside line. The gap was always going to close. He's there in P12. That could have easily ended up like Gutierrez a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think Legend just obviously coming out of the pits thought he might have tried it, but Jax not expecting him to go for that move there, and obviously on slightly colder tyres. Probably a good job that Legend pulled out. But yeah, Jax now outside of the DRS range of his teammate. We'll see where Elting comes out in all of this. I think still, I think lap 4 would have been the lap to come in, like Tom did. I think when Jax did it on lap 3 was perhaps, as we saw from the fact that he didn't gain any time, in fact he nearly got overcut by Legend. It was just one lap too early as Elting's going to come into the pits. I imagine Dutch Missile will as well. We'll see how it works out now. I think Elting could be pretty close to Jax here.
I think he will, to be honest. Elting is into the pit lane. We see the pit window open, lap 6 to 9, under a set of medium compounded tyres. Elting is out of his pit box. The Red Bull of Dutch Missile has gone onto a set of wet compounded tyres. Dutch Missile is on a set of wets. And I look with my head in my hands and think, why, oh why has the game done this?
Oh, that is absolutely gutting for IFR, because let's not forget the third in the championship at this moment in time. Now he's on a set of wet tyres. He's going to finish down in last place, and I imagine absolutely no fault of his own.
No fault of his own at all, and Dutch Missile down in P15, you can see him really struggling. I think we'll come off on board with that, because you probably know what is going to happen on a set wet compound tyres, obviously on a dry track. Shane Lowe leading the way, Manolo in second, CC Brain in third, and actually there's a good train actually forming between second and fifth at this stage. Manolo there in second for now. Of course, these guys still have to pit in, plus Dutch Missile, of course, having to make another pit stop further down the field. Shane Lowe leading the way, Manolo in second, CC Brain in third, Mikulitsi in fourth, but you have to say sorry and just feel apologetic to Dutch Missile and to the IFR team. Wet compounded tyres, probably no fault of his own either. So unfortunate. Sambo is also in this back, by the way, for second. But Dutch Missile, we have to feel sorry for the driver. No fault of his own, unless possibly a human error. Who knows? Whatever is the case, he's on the set of wets and he's going to be right down on the back of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he keeps going, because you never know what could happen, but it's such a short race that he's going to obviously pretty much finish in last when you account Samba's decent. So, yeah, extremely unlucky for him. Sly Guy comes into the pits, gets himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Things go bad to worse for him, so it's Tom in the net lead, Elting second, Legend, though, in a net third. He's putting in a good performance for IFR. Shame, obviously, about what's happened to his teammate. Jack's in a net fourth place at the moment. Shane on that alternate strategy, about 15, 16 seconds ahead of the leaders, and because we've still got a few close together, when he does come out on a fresh set of softs, he's going to be coming out in some traffic, I imagine, behind Sam Gamer.
Yeah, I think he is. He's coming out the pit lane 14.5 seconds behind Sam Gamer, and he's on that to the soft compounded tyre. But crucially, he is on that to the soft, so he's going to be quite quick. But those tyres are going to be shot towards the end of the race. We're halfway through here, though, in Bahrain. Shane leading the way for TFL. Manolo there in second for TF10. CC Brain in third for TTG. Currently, as it stands, it looks like TF10 certainly could be ending them up in terms of a really good result, of course, here tonight. ET8, of course, are going to be outscoring them, I think, at this stage. But remains to be seen where Manolo is going to come out. Where is Manolo going to come out? He's probably going to come out, what, to the Sly Guy Kev sort of area?
No, I think he should be well ahead of those guys, but we'll find out very shortly, won't we? In about 20 seconds' time, where he comes out. A lot of the leaders coming into the pits. Mikulitsi getting very close there to the back of CC Brain. He will come out behind Sam Gamer, as will Shane and all these drivers, but they'll be far enough ahead of Silly Sly Guys. Tom, they're just getting that last extra bit of sneaky slipstream off the back of, I think that was Christmas there, and who can blame him? Got the DRS off him as well, so that means Elting stays behind for another lap. Elting 30% more ERS than the Aston Martin driver at the moment. I think over the next few laps, we'll see that make the difference. We might even see it make a difference down into turn 4.
Yeah, down the inside line goes Elting in towards turn 4, gets the job done, and Tom now will try the switch back through for but Eltink is through, and he's into the lead of the race. Tom there in second, Legend there in third, Jack's there fourth. Christmas, by the way, has dropped further down the field in 17th. Kevin, Julian are fighting side by side. I don't know what's going on here. There was a car couldn't across the grass. That's Kev, who I think had to avoid Lars, and Lars thought he had damage there. He was just forced off track there slightly by Christmas, and Christmas now getting the elbows out, down the inside line of Julian, gets the job done. On the fresh set of softs, absolutely mirrors his way through the field there, and he's through and he's into 14. Very, very good stuff indeed. Eltink, though, leading the way. Tom in second, Legend in third. Through the second half of lap 8 we go. Eltink leading the way, Tom in second, Legend in third. Jack's not entirely out of contention, though, 1.4 seconds behind.
No, not out of contention. He needs his top three to start battling and start holding each other up at this moment in time, because Jack's red light flashing on the back of his car. He's used up the majority of his electrical energy. That comes from the hybrid system, of course. Having 150 less horsepower than everyone else is really going to affect you, especially with the circuit. 3 extremely long straights here, the final straight, the main straight, and then down towards turn number 3 and 4 as well. He is going to struggle unless these guys start holding each other up, I think.
Yeah, definitely so. We see Tom close in on the Eltink down in towards someone, but look at the DRS train now really coming into play for the front 3. Jack's now 1.9 seconds behind. He's only got the corners really to help him. Luckily, more corners and straights around here than Bahrain, but the guys ahead are getting away, and they're getting away quite quick. There was a yellow flag in the first and third sector. Not sure who that might have been for. However, side by side between Sam Gamer and Shane, forcing each other off track completely, and Shane down the inside line. Sam Gamer now on the inside line as well, and Sam Gamer just about comes out on that one on top, but drivers have to calm it down.
Yeah, and I think Shane... Well, I don't think Shane will be calming it down. He's in 8th place at the moment with 5 and a bit laps to go, and he's on a fresh set of soft tyres. He's going to be all over the back of these drivers. How high can he get up? If he gets a podium, I'll be surprised. He's not got a lot of ERS, so he's going to have to do this for hard way. All the way around the outside, perhaps at turn number 11 on that set of soft tyres. It's going to be hard to do. Sam not giving him an inch whatsoever.
No way.
This is exactly what Shane didn't want. Can't do it around the outside of there. Needs to be careful he doesn't hit the curve. I think taps the back of Sam down the inside, gets that moved on. Sam's going to try to cut back, does not have the grip at this moment in time. It's fascinating race, just seeing how this is going to work between these drivers. Shane needs to work his way through the field quickly, already nearly outside of DRS range, I should say, of the Mercedes drivers. It's going to be tough for him to get any higher than Jack to field now.
SXT were doing a good job as well. They're 5th and 6th in a minute. Yogurt now through an Assy. They're fighting side by side. Pretty much down in towards turn 1 there. So good job. And there's 3 wide further down the field. And there's nearly a sandwich between CC Brain, Michalizzi and Manolo. City Slug guys left the session. But CC Brain now through he's into P9. He remains in that position. But my God, that got close. Michalizzi, Manolo, Marlon right on the back of these guys. Michalizzi will try and force a move down the inside line. If they're not careful, they're going to go into each other and behind. As Marlon and Manolo now fight side by side. And Manolo just about gets the traction, the fresh traction on the outside of the track, and he's through and he's into P11, so really good fighting further down the field. Eltink, though, beginning to dominate out in front, 0.8 per second. Tom, those laps for older tyres, those lap warmer tyres you would expect, would normally get him into contention. Tom looks like he's struggling at the minute.
Yeah, if he drops outside of DRS range, he can really not afford to do that, because that would allow Legend through, of course, and even with this issue that IFR have had, unfortunately, this could get interesting between them. We have just got some phantom yellow flags there. Hopefully they don't appear for the rest of the race. But yeah, Legend, if he gets past Tom, it could be really close for 3rd place in the championship, I think, between IFR and Shazoo at this moment in time. So that is going to be one to watch. Jack's really struggling on his ERS here and starting maybe just to fall into a clutch just slightly of Yogurt, Shane and the rest of that pack behind.
I think so, to be honest, and obviously Shane doing a fantastic job on that sort of soft compound tyre, and now Yogurt is pretty much going to like a Muller Yogurt, down in towards turn 1. That is terrible, I know. Shane is through, down the inside line, in towards turn number 1, gets the job done on that fresh set of soft compound tyres. Yogurt has got literally no pace now on that set of mediums compared to a rampaging set of softs of Shane. He's through and he's into P5, but speak again, actually, Yogurt is going to try and close in towards turn 4, doesn't get the move done, and Yogurt there stays in P6. Shane, though, in P5. Assy P7 at the minute, of course. SXT doing a good job. Shazoo doing a good job as well. TF10 currently outscoring ET8.
Yeah, that's obviously that first lap of the race with Lars really ruining any realistic chances ET8 had, unfortunately. Tom, very briefly, dropped outside of DRS range then, just for a split second. He's managed to get back in it, which is oh so important for him as he's, of course, battling with Legend. And now Shane is within DRS range of Jax as well. There's still going to be plenty of battles and twists and turns in this race. As if it didn't get worse for those on the medium tyres. CC Brain, Michelitz, Manolo and Marlon are now starting to catch up to them. They're now all over the back of Sam. 3 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, 3 and a bit laps to go indeed. Shane on the back of Jax, 0.3 of a second off. Said he's like again joining might cause a little bit of interference with the graphics on the left-hand side. But Elting now beginning to really dominate. I did say he might win this race, and look where he is. He's in the lead of the race, but he's now, Tom is going to be under pressure from Legend, and Legend closes rapidly down the inside line in towards turn 1. We're going to see Shane go past Jax as well in behind. Legend through he's into P2, and now Tom down into 3rd position as well. So Shane into 4th in behind, and Michelitz fighting with Sam Gamer, almost like a split selection, and Sam Gamer just completely outbroke himself. I thought he was going to get 2 moves. He's actually lost 3 positions in the end, possibly 4, because Marlon now is going side by side with him, and Sam Gamer risked it for an absolute chocolate biscuit. Other biscuits, of course, are available, but Sam Gamer down the inside line, fighting hard with Marlon, nearly side by side they go, now through 6 and 7, and that was inevitable. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, I think that was just sort of coming. You've got to be brave to go side by side through there. Even Hamilton and Rosberg gave up pretty early on that one in 2014 when they were fighting through that part of the circuit. Elting has checked out. This has been a supreme performance from Elting. You've got to say TF10, even with the issues, have probably been the strongest team and have deserved it at this moment in time. Tom and Legend losing time, hand over fist in all of this. Wonder how high up the field Michelitsky and CC Brain could get in this, and Manolo as well, because their tyres obviously fresher than those ahead of him. Yogurt, Jax, Assy, and maybe even Shane could have to do some working together in the final lap.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the split has come from Legend and Shane, 1.4 seconds separating, but look at how quick those set of softs are. He's getting into contention, the TFL man. However, Legend, this is take 2 on the back of Tom, not using up any ERS at all. I think he's got around 15% down in towards turn number 1. He's not going to get the move done there. Michelitz and CC Brain, however, might have Manolo swings to the inside line, coming down in towards turn 1. CC Brain falls in for a mistake. Manolo follows him, and now Michelitz tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 2, now on the inside of turn 3. Running pretty much adjacent to each other, and now they're side by side of the hill and towards turn number 4. Michelitz down the inside line. Can the Finn get the move done on the Spaniard? Not quite close enough. Manolo with the traction just about stays ahead. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Think that is just a phantom one.
Yeah, hopefully that's the last one we see of that. But yeah, great move there by Manolo. Gets that move done. All this battling just going to hold them up. Just going to hold them up, although I think now probably they have just starting to run out of tyres to catch up to those cars ahead. Shane's trying everything to get on the back of Legend, and Tom and Legend, they've held back ever so slightly. I think they knew Elting had gone, and I think they're trying to save themselves some ERS here as Dutch Missile gets a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Hopefully he carries on, because who knows, the final points he could be extremely important at the end of all this for AFR. We'll just have to wait and see. Elting rounds to final corner for the penultimate time, but the battle's behind him between Tom and Legend. Who is going to finish in 2nd place?
Yeah, we do go on to the final lap of the race this time, unlike your little bit of a blooper last week. Tom, Legend, side by side though, and Legend absolutely pulls alongside and draws past Tom, down in towards onto Legend through, and he's into 2nd position. Tom there in 3rd, Yogurt following through as well on Jax. Jax is now struggling on that set of mediums. They get intertwining each other in terms of the curb, and now Yogurt is through on that set of mediums. He's into 5th. Jax there in 6th, Assy there in 7th, Manolo on the back of CC Brain. Tom, by the way, has launched one down the inside line of Legend. Did he go all the way around the outside there? Didn't quite see that. Shane, though, what I can tell, is right on the back of these guys as the graphics glitch in the final lap of the race.
I think what actually happened there is Tom sent it down the inside of Legend with the DRS, and Legend tried to get that cutback but couldn't quite be able to do so. But it is Elting in the lead. We know that one for sure. Tommy, is a big contact between Legend and Tom, I think, and that's going to allow Shane to get ahead of the pair of them. Dramatic scenes on the final lap.
I think Legend went too late on the brakes, and now he's down into P4, and Tom is side by side with him in towards turn number 11. Can he get the job done on the inside line? Tom falls on the outside line, and Legend's going to have this move. So Legend back through, and he's into 3rd. Drama here in Bahrain. Elting, however, though, has been an absolute dominant drive from him. He is coming around the final couple of corners. Dutch Missile just in behind him out on track as well, so he's going to be coming across the same lap. But Elting now around the final corner. It has been a dominant drive from him. Has it wrapped up the championship? Championship for TF10. We'll just have to wait and see. Elting to the line, wins from Shane in the end, and second. What a finale here in Bahrain. Legend there in third. Tom in fourth. Frustrated, I think, not getting that move. Coming across the line as well, Yogurt Fit, Jackson 6, Assy 7, Manolo in 8, Michelizzi 9, CC Brain in the end is 10, Some Gamers down in 11, TTG as well with Christmas going to come across the line to finish in P12, or Willie, because Marlon's got no penalties in behind. We'll have to wait and see. And Christmas gets outdone by 2.5 seconds compared to that. Julian now across the line to finish in 14. Silly Sly guy around the final corner. He managed to rejoin. He's going to finish under his own volition as well. He's going to come across the line and finish in 15th. Kev there in 16th. Samba has already come across the line, by the way, so we have got a bit of a glitch there for him. Lars coming across the line to finish in 17th. Elting though win. Shane in second. Legend in third. What a dramatic finale here in Bahrain.
Yeah, dramatic finale there. I think there could still be some changes to the standings, maybe with some potential steward inquiries for that one. Didn't quite see what happened between Legend and Tom, but from coming on to the end of it, I can only imagine Legend maybe outbraked himself. Maybe Tom moved slightly in the braking zone, and that's what caused the contact. But Shane, big win of all that, taking second place for TFL. They've shown some good pace. It's just a shame, obviously, that round one of them didn't go so well.
Yeah, definitely so. Elting, though, has been an absolute dominant performer in this event, in the EML Premier Challenge Cup. It's been phenomenal to see his progression. I didn't think, when I saw the line, so I thought Elting in for TF10. He's normally a manager for the guys, and I thought, honestly, putting in a little bit of a wild card might just be a little bit of a different scenario. What an absolute turnout. Not only has he won here in Bahrain, he's won all 3 races, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the last 2 races, he's basically won in the same way. First stint, he's just kept up there. Second stint, he's just had the pace over everyone else and put in a really good job.
He has done a really good job indeed. Of course, we wait on bated breath, and I'm sure you are all, of course, at home waiting on bated breath to see what standings and what the points are going to come out of this. I have a feeling there's going to be a few changes, maybe a few stupid reports thrown in as a result of pretty low-level contact. It was aggressive battling, I've got to say, between a few of the guys out on track, especially Marlon further down the field, along with the final lap incident with Tom, Legend and Shane. We never know. The stewards might come out and have a look once again. But Elting has won. What we can confirm, I don't think that's in any doubt now. Elting has won. Shane provisionally in second and Legend provisionally in third. Further down the field, I'm looking. SXT and Shazoo had a really good final race.
Yeah, they did. Really good final race from them. But I mean, SXT especially, I think got more points from Bahrain than they have from all the rest of the races combined there with a 5th and a 7th place. So really good performance from them. Shazoo likewise having a superb race. They both in previous ones had one driver up there. First time they get both drivers up there, showing why they were good enough in qualifying. They're provisionally, we'll have to wait and see where they are, and of course after any stewards, but I think they'll be ruining, both teams will be ruining the fact that they had only one good race, whereas TFL will be thinking, we'd have driven in that first race like we did in the second and third ones, maybe we could have been challenging for the championship.
Yeah, definitely so, and only 3 events, of course, in this, 3 races, of course, in this event, but Elting has won, Shane in second, Legend in third, and I'm still seeing cars going around out on track. We've got an unbelievable glitch to end us off, but absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to come out onto multiplayer, yeah. But we will wait on the drivers' the team standings to come through very shortly, but brilliant racing, and hopefully it is all going to be turned out on track, and hopefully there's going to be no stewards reports put in, and I have a feeling at least one of the teams might be having that bring your own booze party. Yeah,
it's very possible. I think TF10 are going to be celebrating all night long, and well, it's a manager who's put in the performances, so I don't know, I've normally thought to be the manager buying the drinks for everyone else. I'm not sure in this situation. He's definitely got plenty of champagne in his collection though.
Definitely so, and it's been brilliant, I think, to see, obviously, all of the racing that has unfolded down on the track. It's been brilliant. I hope you have really enjoyed it. I apologise again for the glitches that we've had to deal with. We have literally had to deal with these in hand with you guys at home, and I apologise profusely for anything that might have happened as a result of our glitches. We tried to get the show on the road. We eventually did get the show on the road, and what a show it was, of course, for the EML Premier Challenge Cup event. and we're just waiting at the minute on the standings. So I think, well, I don't know what to go through now, to be honest.
I mean, do you want me to go through the results? I've still got them on screen if you want me to do that.
Can do. I haven't received confirmation that we've officially got the results, though.
I mean, the race results.
Oh, the race results. Yeah, go on.
Well, we've got Eltic obviously taking the victory. Shane finishing in second place. Legend coming home in third place. Last lap contact between him and Tom. Tom finishing in fourth. Yogurt in fifth. Sandwiched between the two Shizou drivers as Jack's not having the pace in that second stint. He finished in sixth place. Asi in seventh. Manolo in eighth place. A fantastic rear gunner to the pace of Elting. Mikulitsky and CC Brain rounding out the top 10. Sam Gamer, he had an eventful race finishing in 11th. Marlon in 12th. Christmas in 13th. Julian 14th. Kev was 15th. Lars 16th. Sly Guy in 17th place. Ditch Missile 18th. And the final finisher, we believe, as Samba was decent from the session, of course.
I think it's Dutch Missile, by the way, not Ditch Missile. I think they have just... apologies, Dutch Missile, apologies. But we have got the standings, and it is, in the end, a TF10 success. 88 in second on 87, IFR in third on 70, Shazoo in the end tied with TFL in fourth, and TTG and SXT also tied for sixth. So I'm not sure if we're getting a sudden death rematch maybe between those four teams. QRT finishing in eighth on 51 points, FRL in ninth on 32, and ERT, unfortunately the wooden spoon is going to ERT down in 10th on 29 points, only 3 points picked up as a result of their final race. Of course, we did not know where Samba finished in terms of that. We definitely know he finished under his own volition, I think, but has to wait and see. TF10 the Wild on top, ET8 in second, IFR third, and in the end, TF10 domination.
Yeah, domination in the end. I think no matter what issues could have happened, they put in a superb performance, took the victory last week, of course, with Eltink and Will being up there as well. Changed the lineup tonight, and Manolo, I think even he'll admit, didn't have the pace of Eltink, but put in two very solid top 10 performances. And we said all along that if you kept getting drivers finishing in the top 10, that would probably help you win the championship. And that's clearly what happened today for TF10.
Yeah, looking at the results as well from all three races, consistency was absolutely the key for the TF10 team. So congratulations to TF10 for picking up the £100 prize, of course, and for winning the EML Premier Challenge Cup, the inaugural EML Premier Challenge Cup. ET8, of course, picking up £50 as well for their second prize, and IFR picking up third for their £25 prize that they're going to be picking up, which is really good stuff. I think, though, that is the end of what I know has been slightly frustrating stream. Again, we apologise for the issue that we had in Austria. We eventually got going. Brilliant racing, of course, out on track. And, Luke, I'm going to come across to you, your final thoughts on, I think, what has been an absolutely fantastic event. And I've been so privileged to have it alongside you, of course.
Yeah, there's been some really great racing. I think despite what's happened, all the races were extremely close. On paper, it looks like TF10 just had a nice, easy performance. Yes, they finished 45 points ahead, nearly a full, I think a victory in a fifth place. That works out as ahead of everyone else. But the races were extremely close between them, and there's a lot of teams here showed that they have got some good pace. A lot, I think, apart from we know ERT had some issues. FRL obviously only having one driver tonight. That is why they're at the bottom. But I think at various points, every other team had drivers near the front of the races, and we know they always say, oh, you know, a lot of drivers have gone over to the PC. There's still some top quality drivers here on the PlayStation platform.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it obviously sets up a really good standard for what is obviously going to come on League Racing TV, in other leagues as well. And I think this platform does look very bright in terms of its future, of course, on the PS4 and the PS5 platform indeed. But that will round us off, of course, on League Racing TV. If you are so inclined to tune in for more action on League Racing TV this week, may I tempt you to join in for TTML FT, myself and Pepsi Freak taking you the action, of course, for that tomorrow night at 7 p.m, at 8 p.m, I should say. Goodness me, I'm an hour early if I'm going to be turning up there. TTML F3, of course, at the same time as well. It is Mike and Storm taking to the action for that. TTML F3, same time, Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. And then F4 and F5, of course, on Friday for TTML. And then that is on, of course, 8 p.m. UK time Friday. And then myself and Luke are back in the commentary box on Sunday evening, TTML F1. Really hope you can join us for there. Of course, both championships have been wrapped up, but it doesn't mean to say the final 2 rounds will not be any short of a roaring success. Hopefully, that will be the case. More action to come as well. BNL, CWC, TTML GT, the lot is going to be on League Racing TV moving forward. But for myself and from Luke, thank you so much for watching. We got there in the end, and until next time, goodbye.